Nibiru the Primal Being is without a doubt one of the strongest hand traps in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading card game. In fact, it's easily one of the most impactful TCG World Premiere cards ever created, giving you the ability to wipe every face-up monster your opponent has on the field right off the board, as well as summon a colossal 3,000 attack monster simultaneously. It single-handedly won numerous high-caliber duels, as well as changed the way competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! Is played. When you see players treading lightly mid-combo, or even taking special care not to summon more than 5 times during a turn, make no mistake, these are entirely because of the creation of Nibiru, and those duelists know everything could come crashing down if they aren't careful and take special precautions. But what if I told you that was only the tip of the iceberg when it came to this massively powerful card? What if I told you that Nibiru was actually designed after a real-life planet that could potentially end our world just as easily as Nibiru ends Yu-Gi-Oh! Duels? In this video, I'll tell you the story of the rogue knife planet Nibiru, as well as separate facts from loose theories. Let's get to the bottom behind what some believe is the ninth planet in our solar system just waiting to be discovered. In our solar system, there are 8 official planets: Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. Long ago, when I was in elementary school, we were taught that Pluto was our 9th and final planet, but the International Astronomical Union reclassified Pluto as a dwarf planet in 2006. But as I mentioned earlier, many believe that there is truly a 9th planet hidden in our solar system, planet Nibiru. First, let's start with the origins of Nibiru. Planet Nibiru first came to the forefront of the public around 1976 with the publishing of The 12th Planet by Zachariah Sitchin. In this book, Sitchin used his own unique translation of the Sumerian cuneiform to identify the planet. Sitchin was a journalist and a student of Sumerian cuneiform. These are ancient writings of Mesopotamia and Persia, mainly on clay tablets. According to Sitchin, humanity was not the product of natural selection, but instead was bioengineered by a species of aliens called the Anunnaki. Sitchin believed the Anunnaki were originally from planet Nibiru and had once even colonized in southeastern Africa. Sitchin claimed that planet Nibiru would approach the Earth once every 3,600 years, and that's where some of the doomsday predictions arose from. Despite not being taken seriously at all by historians, scientists, or the scientific community, Sitchin's book has sold millions of copies, and some say has even led to widespread hysteria. Much of this hysteria was caused by self-proclaimed psychic Nancy Lieder in 1995. The codename Nibiru Cataclysm foretells a planetary apocalyptic event in which planet Nibiru comes in contact with the Earth during the course of its orbit and destroys the Earth during the impact. According to Nibiru theory supporters, the planet is supposed to be around 10 times the size of the Earth, roughly right between the sizes of Saturn and Jupiter. Also, they believed even if Nibiru did not make direct contact with the Earth, just by coming close enough to its path, the Earth would undoubtedly suffer countless natural disasters. This all sounds pretty dreadful and like quite the doomsday prediction, right? Well, luckily for all of us living on Earth, the original prediction date of this catastrophic impact was supposed to happen 17 years ago in 2003. After, of course, it did not, the date was pushed back nearly a decade to further match up with the Mayan calendar in 2012. In 2011, when Comet Elenin appeared, many Nibiru supporters believed that it was the prophecy at hand and that the world was going to end. The supporters completely ignored scientific facts such as comets and planets looking vastly different under the conditions of a telescope. Comets have a gas atmosphere called a coma and a tail, while planets of course do not. So once again, the doomsday prophecy of Nibiru colliding with the Earth turned out to be nothing more than fan fiction at best. In fact, to that end, after being wrong about the original 2003 prediction, our earlier mentioned self-proclaimed psychic Nancy Lieder publicly said that her prediction was simply a white lie to fool the establishment, and that if she revealed the true date, the government would declare martial law, trapping millions in cities, leading to their deaths. I understand how this sounds, but look, I never said that the people behind the Nibiru story weren't totally batshit crazy, so take that for what it is. Also, here's a picture of Mike Tyson from the 90s, apparently wearing a Nibiru tie, so I guess he was a supporter of the theory as well. It doesn't have much to do with the video, but hey, I found the picture, so I'm gonna use it. One reason planet Nibiru is not supported by the scientific community is its orbital path. It just doesn't make any sense. Planet Nibiru is supposed to take 3,600 years to orbit the sun, which technically could be possible. Dwarf planet Sedna, which is totally a real planet, for comparison, takes about 11,400 years to make one round trip. That's about 3 times as long. Consider that even at Sedna's closest point to the sun during its orbit, it's still over 70 billion miles away. But planet Nibiru, on the other hand, has a path that supposedly brings it closer to the inner parts of our solar system, to the likes of Earth, Mercury, Venus, and Mars, despite having an orbital path that would have planet Nibiru be at some points 4 trillion miles away from the sun. This is why I said earlier that Nibiru's planetary orbital path, or its suggested orbital path, just doesn't really make a lot of sense, and it would be unlike the other 8 planets in our solar system. In fact, its shape would be more like the shape of a stick or something. Not to mention, to complete Nibiru's orbit, the planet would have to be moving almost 4,700 miles per hour, which is 4 times the speed of Earth. Now, the speed isn't necessarily the problem here, as planets like Jupiter also travel through space faster than Earth. Jupiter clocking in at around a mind-blowing 30,000 miles per hour. The problem is, however, when such a giant planet like Nibiru, which, again, for the record, is supposed to be about the size of Jupiter, is moving at that type of speed on such a narrow, unstable, and irregular orbital path, unlike anything that we've seen before. In fact, this is so problematic that many scientists argue Nibiru's own velocity and sheer size would probably give it a major risk for being ejected out of our solar system entirely. So if planet Nibiru was out there on its unbelievable orbital path, it doesn't seem very likely that it would be on that path for long. Keep in mind that the 8 planets in our solar system pretty much stay on the same orbital path constantly, and they've been on this orbital path as long as our solar system has been around, which is a little over 4.5 billion years. More reasons planet Nibiru isn't supported by the scientific community is the lack of tangible evidence. Let's get pretty sciencey right now. First off, there has never been a single documented sighting of Nibiru, and there doesn't even seem to be any of the basic telltale signs. Let's take, for example, the planet Uranus, which was discovered in 1781. Many years after discovering Uranus, scientists kept noticing that the planet was constantly deviating off of its expected orbital path. This led scientists to hypothesize that there was another planet nearby affecting its orbit, one that they simply hadn't discovered yet. Fast forward about 60 years in the future to 1846, and exactly what they thought was in fact at hand as Neptune was discovered. Just for reference, Neptune and Uranus are basically identical in size. So at this point, we have to ask ourselves, if planet Nibiru really is out there and it's supposed to be almost the size of Jupiter, why haven't we seen any signs of its gravitational force, which is more evident in larger planets such as Jupiter and Saturn? If every planet in our solar system orbits the sun on the same plane and has been doing so for billions of years, how is it possible that a planet that supposedly could come in contact with the Earth wouldn't knock some of the other planets off axis or seriously alter their orbits around the sun? To put it in layman's terms, that's just not possible. In the end, the story of planet Nibiru is just that, a story. It's fun to think about the card art of Nibiru the Primal Being and how it depicts exactly the doomsday tales foretold. In fact, you could even say that it's the perfect depiction of what happens to someone who is hit by Nibiru, as their entire world comes crashing down and they're generally left in ruin and demise, wondering how they'll muster the strength to go on. Heck, I'd even argue that the illogical doomsday hysteria caused by the myth of planet Nibiru actually mirrors the release of the actual card, which is probably the epitome of irony and quite genius when you think about it, if that's what Jerome McHale and Konami R&D was going for. But scientifically speaking, it's nothing more than a fairy tale, or at least it is until we get way more tangible evidence that planet Nibiru is actually out there somewhere. Anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed this short Yu-Gi-Oh story. If you guys do like these type of videos, just let me know by giving the video a big thumbs up or by leaving a comments in the comment section letting me know. So these videos don't generally get as many views as some of the other videos that I post on this channel, but I kind of pride myself on these type of videos. I like to, think that sometimes you can come to this channel and get a history lesson or even a science lecture and it still be in the context of Yu-Gi-Oh! And I feel like this is probably the only channel that can give you that. Anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, give the video a thumbs up. Thank you guys for watching. As always, subscribe if you have not already and turn on that notification bell for daily videos.